Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here in Paris, where we're continuing our coverage of the Paris Air Show. Our coverage here is sponsored by L3 Technologies and Leonardo DRS, and we're honored to have with us Marine Corps Lieutenant General John Dog Davis, who is the Deputy Commandant for Aviation for the Corps. Sir, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Vago, it's great to be here. Thanks.
So why is it so important for you to be at the Paris Air Show?
Well, it's a lot of these events. We get a chance to go talk to the manufacturers of the aircraft, the radars, the weapon systems, also the folks that deal with advanced alloys, metals, things like that can make our aircraft more resilient, more ready over the long haul. So we talk to them, tell them about what they're doing well, what they need to be working harder on, and kind of what our future needs are. So we're doing that, and everybody else is doing that too. The other part of this is it gives us a chance to talk to our counterparts, our foreign counterparts, guys like me, that are running air forces, large air components like the United States Marine Corps, common problems, common challenges, common opportunities, and then where we look for where we can work together closer in the future. So everybody's kind of doing the same thing. It's a great opportunity to get everybody together to talk about the important stuff.
And of course had nothing to do with the fact that the F-35 was here making its debut.
It was. We had an F-35A out here. The Air Force guys were doing a great job, and really proud of them and proud of our country and all the partners that put this great airplane on the map.
There are a lot of supporters of the F-35, and you probably rank among the most ardent supporters of the F-35. Marine Corps was first to declare IOC. You were very eager to push that capability out into the field as quickly as possible. The jets have been in Iwakuni now for a while, and they are now regular Marine Corps airplanes. What are some of the lessons you're picking up from that deployment?
Well, first off, I'd say I'll key on that. I'm an ardent supporter of the F-35. I'm an ardent supporter of anything that's going to give my Marines advantage. And this airplane's the next big thing. It's going to give our Marines advantage for the long haul. It's a phenomenal combat system, and it's designed from the ground up to meet our operational requirements. So it's the ability to, maximize sortie rate from whether it's a sea base going off an L-class ship or any kind of ship, or expeditionary bid at tin ashore. Power project and provide air cover and air support to our Marine forces, large and small, in the battles that limit our nation's bow. So this is a great airplane to go do that, and we're achieving fantastic results in the field with this aircraft. A lot of the training exercises, whether it's WTI or the Red Flag or the exercise we have up there in Alaska, incredible results coming from this platform, both in the air-to-air and the air-to-ground regime, which is what we care about, the multi-mission airplane. It's an incredible combat multiplier. I think you've seen some of what people kind of focus on is exchange rates. Really what they're talking about is how much we're doing, how much production we're getting out of this airplane, and how many of our aircraft are being lost in the exchange. And it's zeroed, or next to nothing. And that, to me, is unprecedented in the combat aircraft that I've seen over a 37-year career. Frankly, reading military history, we've never seen anything like this. So we've got a tremendous capability in our hand. I think it's a beginning part of it. We're just starting to grow and learn from it. The young folks that are flying it and maintain it are extracting maximum value from it every single day, and we're learning every single day.
And by the way, I want to thank you again for doing this, given that you're about to get on an airplane and fly out, which is why we're doing this interview on the street. Talk to us a little bit. Any sort of maintenance reliability issues, or is the airplane proving to adapt easily to operational service?
Well, I think the number one thing for all of the Marine aircraft is the spare parts. We want to make sure our spare counts are full. We started off in a little bit of a hole, some underfunding, some under execution out there in some previous years, and we're basically filling those coffers back up and making sure we got the density of spare parts so that we can surge the aircraft and do what we need to do with it as we go forward. I'm tracking the readiness rates of the most forward deployed forward station squadron, VMFA 121, which is in Iwakuni, Japan, and they're exponentially better than my legacy platforms right now, both Harrier and Hornet. They run 75 to 80% pretty much every given day, and that's what we're looking for. I'd like better than that, but that's for a new airplane. It's gone over to Alaska, basically deployed to Japan. Basically kept full mission systems all the way over and all the way back, deployed to Alaska and deployed back. So it's making large movements across the ocean, showing up and providing combat power and reliable combat power in any climate place, and an airplane that's a stowable airplane. So what's not to like about that? Pretty happy with that. Just not satisfied. Everything can be better, but we're doing pretty well with that airplane.
At what point are you going to start doing some bare base operations, sending it out to islands in the region to be able to operate from forward locations?
whenever the MEF commander and combatant commander deem that as a requirement. We're ready to do it now, right now.
What are you doing to get ready for the first deployment? The America-class ships are game-changing capabilities for the force. I'm going to ask you about that later, but in general, what are you doing to get the ship, get these aircraft ready to go aboard ship?
Well, there's two parts of that. You have to get the ship ready to take the aircraft. The aircraft are ready to go aboard the ship right now, so we're training the crews, training the pilots, landing signal officers, all that kind of stuff for the 2 Marine Expeditionary Unit deployments that are looming on our bow. I won't give you the exact dates, but it's in 2018, and both those will go on schedule. Training the ship, making sure the ship's ready, make ship's company ready for a 5th generation airplane. Different combat capabilities. So now you've got V-22s, okay, long range strike assault support aircraft, and you got a long range 5th generation full missions strike aircraft, stealth aircraft, electronic warfare aircraft, air-to-air aircraft, air-to-ground aircraft. A killing machine that's out there on that deck ready to go. So I think we're going to experiment with the combinations of airplanes that we need out there. I think it's about bringing that Marine Expeditionary Unit together, train them as a team. That's how we fight as an air-ground team. And this will be fighting from an air-ground team from a sea base. So pretty exciting for the America and the WASP.
And are there going to be extensive modifications required for that ship, because, or not?
Yeah, they do. They've got to put what they call it. It's a skiff that goes inside the ship that we do our planning in, a SAP-F. They do make sure that the decks are ready to go for the airplane. There's some modifications going. I call it. I don't know if it's extensive, but it's significant. And but bottom line, we do that in kind of the rework schedule for the ship anyway. So I think we've got 2 that are coming into the fleet now, and others are being modified as we speak to get more ships ready to take F-35.
And how are the American?
I think we've got the first Navy carrier ready to take F-35 as well.
How important are the America-class ships going to be? You and I were talking at a reception, and you were talking about the force multiplier effect those ships are going to have.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about why you're so confident that's going to be a successful platform.
Well, it's a bigger ship. It carries more gas, more ordnance. Better for power projecting air power. The America class doesn't have a well deck on it right now for at least the first 2. And so bottom line, we have to mitigate that with other ships in the formations to carry our amphibious lift and our ship-to-shore connectors. But again, the America is a new ship. It's got a lot of real estate, a lot of room. You could actually put more aircraft on that ship if you needed to, and we're experimenting with it right now in our 1 MEF expedition force.
Let me take you to the idea of light aircraft. There are some folks who suggested the Marine Corps could use fewer Bravos, supplement that by some form of light attack aircraft. Some people have said the OV-10 was the Bronco, great airplane. Marine Corps put it out of service in '95, I think, but some of them are back in service in the fight against ISIS. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
I think I'm buying about 383 light attack aircraft. They're called H-1 Zulus and Yankees, and they're phenomenal platforms. We looked at the capabilities the light attack aircraft bring, and bottom line, like anything, I can't put them in a sea base. The Zulus and the Yankees can land vertically, can operate from a sea base, can operate from everywhere. I've got my Marines, require minimal logistics support, and provide high fidelity combat power for our Marines. So I think I've got a great mix of the light attack aircraft and the 5th generation aircraft in our force design right now. It's validated by our Marines at Quantico for a number of years. So we think we got exactly the right formula for success. We will build a MUX, a unmanned air vehicle, which is a combat system with a lot of firepower and a lot of sensors. That's coming next, but that will complement those platforms. But my sense is we're on exactly the right track, and if General Noah thought we were on the wrong track, he'd let me know. So far, he just is telling me to go faster.
Let me ask you about a little bit about readiness, but more specifically about some of the accidents we've seen. You've been spending a lot of time on that. You've said that it's tied to readiness and the amount of funding and sustainment and spare parts and everything else that were backed up because of the Budget Control Act in part and spending cuts and gaps in funding. Talk to us. Is there a common theme? Have you got your arms wrapped around it? And what's the Corps going to do going into the future? Because you've dug yourself into a hole and you got a lot of old airplanes and you're going to have to keep operating them for a while.
We're digging ourselves out of the hole right now. So over the last 3 years, we've been a readiness recovery model, and we're on glide slope to increase the number of flight hours per pilot. The last 3 months, we've been about 16.9. That's about where we're targeting. We have some communities that are a little bit lower than their requirement. Some are executing a little bit above. But with the help of, I think it requires focus, and it does require funding, but it requires focus and good solid execution, and we're doing that. I would say that we weren't as proficient as we needed to be. We were safe, not proficient. And I think teaching the Marine Corps and the squadron commanders how much we can do with less proficient guys in order to get them kind of the basics, get them back on this stuff quickly. Now we're providing the airplanes back in the flight line that we need to be a safer force and more proficient force. I would say, though, first off, though, that to kind of wrap it up, is the buck lies here, right? Buck stops here. We're accountable for those mishaps, and that we crashed, in most cases, perfectly good airplanes. It wasn't about the spare parts. It was about proper execution, and we're working really hard on that, too, to make sure we execute properly and we supervise properly and we do the job we're supposed to and do things sensibly. And so I think there's a renewed emphasis on that inside the Marine Corps, certainly with me. And but the buck stops here. Okay, so bottom line is I'll be accountable for that mishap rate, and I'm not going to blame anybody else for that.
You are wrapping up an extraordinary 37-year career in the United States Marine Corps. You retire a week after next, I think, in Washington.
July. Mm-hmm.
On 10th of July. You were one of the first early generation of Harrier pilots.
I was.
You were the last guy trained to fly the A.
I was. That's right.
What are some of the career high points and things you're going to look back on with pride if you're in your service?
Well, I guess career high point is the day I walked into a recruiting office in Buffalo, New York to join the Marine Corps. I didn't know they had airplanes. I knew it needed discipline, and I got some that summer at PLC Junior. It's been I'd say every high point has been every single day I've been honored to wear this uniform and lucky enough to wear this uniform and serve this great country, the greatest country the world's ever seen. The American idea is alive and well, and I've just been, I'm proud to be a part of that, and I'm really proud to be a part of the United States Marine Corps. It's a phenomenal warfighting organization, and really proud. So to answer your question, Vago, I think every single day being a U.S. Marine. Yeah.
Dog, fair winds, following seas.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. Hoorah. Thanks. Thank you.